Hello and welcome. Good to be back in the hot seat for another edition of Weighted to Win. I've got both these with me for the weekend. We've got Daryl Marie and Darren Burrows, and we've got a double header obviously on this Saturday. We're going to touch on the turffontein meeting for now, and we're going to jump straight into it with the betting for race number 2. I see the market has got Turconnell number 4 at 2-1, 8 Command Pilot at 3-1, the 10 King of the Seas at 15-2, and you're getting 8-1 and better those. So I'm going to go to Darren on the line first. Darren, very unlucky at the Val on Thursday. I know there were a few all-to-comes going into Little Miss Money bags, but we're going to jump straight into this Saturday edition. Turffontein Racing, it looks to be a nice card. What do you like in race number 2?
Well, Brandon, it all depends on the well-being of this horse, Turconnell, because he came to the course with a reputation. He ran against winners in a strong race, and he got beat half a length. He was flying home late. If he's anywhere near best, he could blow them away. But let's see the market closer to race time. If he does firm in the betting, I think he's the right horse. Now, if he's not ready, then you got to include Command Pilot on that good debut, and you got to include Copper Mist. I thought a bit unlucky, jumping slow last time out. So 4 to beat 8 and 9, and then Scarlet Pimpernel plays chance.
Yeah, I think a lot obviously hinges on the fact of the well-being of Turconnell, and I'm going to say a big thank you to Charles Pretorius. Just a reminder to the viewers out there that you'll be able to catch all the Mike de Kock comments on the Insiders blog. On the Betway website. So if you go to the Betway website and you go to the Insiders blog, you'll be able to get all the Mike de Kock comments as to what he's expecting with his runners on the day. And I can tell you off the bat quickly that Turconnell, it was an injury that set him back, unfortunately, but he's doing well back at home. He's done a bit of sand work. If he's not too ring rusty, they're expecting him to go very close, and it's great to see Richard Fourie in town to ride for Mike de Kock. I'm going to go to Daryl Marie. Daryl, thanks very much for joining us. Good card. I've given you those comments about Turconnell. If he's not ring rusty, they are expecting him to go nicely.
Yeah, thanks to Charles for that. Clark, sorry, Brandon. I don't think he's really going to get a vigorous ride in his comeback start. If he's got a little bit of class about him, he could certainly pull it off, because I don't think the form on offer here is of a high standard. Like Darren touched on, Command Pilot, fair debut. Worried about that form line. Copper Mist, he's got fitness on his side, and I think his course and distance suited. And then King of the Seas, I know his form lines aren't strong whatsoever, but he is now stepping up to a more suitable trip, and from a neat draw he's going to strip fitter. Don't be surprised to see him feature. So I played wide. I went numbers 4, 8, 9 and 10.
Okay, yeah, I think head on over to that Insiders blog on the Betway website. You can get all the runners, all the comments for Mike de Kock, what he's expecting. I know that he's been in Australia over the last few weeks, but he has been kind enough to give us those comments, and we're hoping that Turconnell can get it right for the team. All right, so let's go into those selections. Let's see what we're doing. It is race number 2, which means naturally the bar pot's going to start here, being a 9-race program. 4, 8, 9 and 10 for Daryl Marie in leg 1, by 2 and 8, by 1, 4 and 6, by 1 and 5, by banker 7, by banker 1, and that's going to cost you 48 Rand. We're on to race number 3. It is the first leg of the place accumulator. Favourites over here, very short, is Outer Dimension, number 8 at 7-10. 28-10, number 1, Solo Diva, and it's 8-1 and better those. I'm going to go to Darren on the line. Darren, we're chatting off air. You do make this a good thing on the programme, and I'm sure you're going to be bankering this in the PA.
Yes, Brandon, I made this close to a certainty. I can't see her getting beat in this lineup. Last time out, on debut, that was a solid effort because she came off the bit coming into the straight. She took time to unwind. When the jockey changed stick, she took off late. She was only beaten 4 lengths. That was a 1400. This is an 1800. She's taking on a very weak field, and if she's got any ability, I think she'll win very comfortably.
Nice confidence there from Darren Burrows. Daryl, just quickly, the comments coming through from Mike de Kock is that this horse obviously ran a bit above expectation first time out. She's doing nicely back at home. She's made the improvements. The only concern is she's still very green. Are you also going to make this a good thing?
I didn't make it a good thing, Brandon. I liked her debut. I think she stayed on nicely. Caught a little bit flat-footed halfway up the straight, but certainly doing her best work late. Yeah, gonna appreciate the extra. You know, Brandon, she's a half-sister to Aragosto, who's a mile and a half horse. So I think in a few months' time she could be a division or two above what she meets today. But I just a little bit concerned. I don't know the strength of that form line, and I've backed up with a filly that's very limited. In number 2, Queen Britannia, she is very limited. She's had her chances. But Brandon, her later start, I thought she was doing her best work late. And another filly that's certain to get the trip. Go back to her penultimate start. That was in a handicap against winners. 3 runs back in a handicap against winners. So I think she is the favourite's biggest danger. I'm willing to double up over here. 2 and 8.
Yeah, I think we also need to respect Solo Diva. Gavin Larena gets the ride for Tyron Zaki. There's been a winner from that Summer of Dreams form line, a horse called Bad Hair Day, something that Daryl Marie never has. But yeah, that's probably the winner that we've got to point out of that Summer of Dreams form line. I don't think it's going to be one of the strongest form lines in the country, but respect Solo Diva with Gavin Larena getting the ride. Okay, so let's put up those selections. I see Daryl Marie, as I always call him, the PA King, is gone 2 and 8, by 1, 4 and 6, by 1 and 5, by Banker 7, by Banker 1, by 1 and 5, by 4, 7 and 12. 72 Rand the spec. It's pick 6 time. We move on to race number 4. The favourite here is number 4, Breeze Over at 7-2. 8 Over to Use at 5-1. Haslo Grande, number 6 at 6-1 with number 9, Battleground, and it's 7-1 and better those. I'm going to start with Darren. Darren, what do you like in an open race? This horse, Breeze Over, we know stays every inch of the 2,400 metre trip. Over to you, must have a chance. Haslo Grande is turning out to be a decent horse. What do you like?
Well, starting with Breeze Over. Now, he stays all day. I like that they've removed the blinkers on him because he can settle better. He likes to go handy. He'll overcome the draw into a handy position. And if given a nice patient ride, I think he'll go very close to winning. Now, this was Over to You is a big runner. He's probably going to switch off the pace from a deep draw. He's 3.5 kilos better off with Breeze Over on collateral form, and I think he'll do well. Haslo Grande could appreciate the step up in trip and rate the biggest danger to those two.
Quite a trappy race. I like 2 horses at prices over here, and I wonder if Daryl Marie can give me the green light. I like a horse here, Green Light Magic, who's 9-1 in the markets. I think that'll give you a big run for your money. And I think Rule Book. This is the right sort of trip to see Rule Book run a cracker. Daryl, what do you like? Am I mad? Have I lost my mind?
No, you haven't. I respect Green Light Magic, Brandon. Last time out, it was a bit stop-start for him in the straight. He's a few times at a crucial period. So on paper, the 2 kg swing around for a 4.5, 3/4 length beating won't be enough. But you have to take into consideration that he was interfered with. Both are unexposed over this distance, himself and Haslo Grande. So they could appreciate the step up in trip. Haslo Grande, on the other hand, excuse me, he was exposed a long way out last time out. He hit the front, he was green. I don't know if you recall, Black Lightning actually quick and better than him. And he came back at him, and he certainly wasn't stopping, so I like his chances. And then Breeze Over interests me. Also, I'm of the opinion that he's going to be better without the blinkers. This horse, when he gets to the front, I think he's still very hesitant, unsure of what to do because he runs around when he hits the front. I think with a more patient ride, I wouldn't be surprised to see him confirm that form with Over to You, despite what the weights suggest. So I've only got numbers 1, 4 and 6.
All right, yeah. So there you've heard it from Darren Burrows and Daryl Marie. Let's put those selections up. Let's see what we're going to do. That is the first leg of the pick six. And this is Darren Burrows' pick six. He's gone 4 and 8. So just breeze over and over to you by 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7, by 5 and 6, by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 9, by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, by 4, 7, 11, and 12. 2,400 Rand. That's the spend. You can take a percentage. It's entirely up to you, but you need to be on by 13:35. First jackpot starts in race number 5, and the favourites over here, Silver Sanctuary, 28-10. It's JP van der Merwe for Mike de Kock. Number 5, Napoleon, 4-1. 1 American Biscuit at 5-1 at 17-2, and better those. Let's go to Darren on the line. Darren, this was won very impressively first time out. You have to think that there's a lot more improvement. Horse to beat, Silver Sanctuary?
Could be the horse to beat, Brandon, but on debut she was very green and she took time to unwind, and when she got going she showed a bit of class. She beat a very weak field, it has to be said. I think in a couple of months' time she's going to be a class above these. She could be above average, but right now from a deep draw I'm just a little bit concerned. She could win, she could just be found wanting early on in her career. Now, there are dangers. You've got to include American Biscuit. I think he's going to run well. There's some strong form lines behind his name. Mo the Man, the drop-in trip's going to suit. Napoleon, always right there. His next win's not far away. Now, Tumby's an interesting runner because he came to the course with a reputation. He won. He went a bit off form, but his last run was a cracker. And I think he could be the main threat to Silver Sanctuary.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's never easy. Young filly, Silver Sanctuary, but Wordish is doing nicely back at home, especially this sort of track and trip. This could be right up her alley, Silver Sanctuary. And Mike de Kock thinks quite a bit of her. Let's go and see what Daryl Marie thinks with regards to Silver Sanctuary. I mean, very impressive first time out. It wasn't the strongest of fields. I know there was a horse called Leonessa in the race that came out to win a good race at the Vaal on Tuesday. Daryl, what do you make of this filly?
Yeah, Brandon, in time to come, this filly could really be anything. You know, she's by Silvano and she should certainly improve with racing and experience. But currently, do I think there's value with the current odds? I don't believe that. In saying that, that's the reason why I've played to beat her. I really like the look of number 1 over here, American Biscuit. He's having his 3rd run as a gelding. Back in a handicap. Last time out, he was out at the weight and he was far from disgraced. We saw Imperial Master frank that form. I actually think at this stage of his career, he's better over a mile. So I like the fact that he's coming back in trip. So for me, American Biscuit represents a value and the one to beat. Respect for Napoleon. You know, he bumped a very nice sort last time out and he should have actually finished slightly closer. But he does appear to be a very tricky ride. You have to get it right with him because if he don't time it perfectly, I don't think he puts his mind to it. You can see he hasn't been in the winner's enclosure for 535 days. But if Craig can hold him up and produce him at the right time, I think he's a major factor here. So for me, I went 1 in 5.
All right, let's go and jump into those selections. Be very interested to see how Silver Sanctuary goes because just listening to the comments from Mike de Kock, I think he thinks quite a bit of this individual. Filly taking on the boy is not going to be easy. First jackpot, Darren Burrows gone 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 10 in the first leg by 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 9, by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 900 Rand is the play, and race 5 goes off at 10 past 2. Okay, so let's crack on. We go on to race number 6, and this is obviously the start of the second jackpot. The market at the moment, number 5, Call Me When You Need Me, 22-10. Number 6, Sharapova, 7-2. 7, Queen of Camelot, 7-2. And it's 13-2 and better those. Let's go to Darren on the line. Darren, a good race. A few horses have put their hand up. I'm sure they're going to have a competitive Highveld season. Call Me When You Need Me, Sharapova, and Queen of Camelot. What do you like? If Darren can just unmute himself, we'll get him back on the line in just a moment. I believe he has now joined us. Sorry about that, Darren. I was just saying a few horses that will put their hand up to have a competitive Highveld season. The favourites Call Me When You Need Me. What do you like in this particular contest?
Brandon, it could be tricky, but I do like a bit of Call Me When You Need Me. I think she's a progressive filly. She's a young 3-year-old. The step up in trip suited her down to the ground. I mean, she won with a ton in hand. I know she's gone up in the ratings, but I think she's going to be very competitive. Sharapova interests me. I know she's had a layoff, but she could run well fresh down in trip. Others to consider: Queen of Camelot, I Am Regal, and Simple. So a very small but tricky field. Call Me When You Need Me is my outright first choice.
Did win very well. I know the yard have always thought quite a bit of Call Me When You Need Me. Let's go to Daryl Marie. Daryl, this was Sharapova, just listening to the comments, has had a wind operation, been off for some time, 119 days off the track, but doing very well back at home. Drawn to JP van der Merwe gets the ride for Mike de Kock, and they are expecting her to be competitive also if she's not too ring rusty.
Yeah, she's actually my second pick, but I've taken my chances over here, Brendan. I've banked a horse. And I think I'll know my fate by the time they start loading, because this filly can tend to be very temperamental and work herself up. That's number 7, Queen of Camelot. Now, I don't know if you saw her beyond the pens last time out, Brandon. She was dripping with sweat. She had really run a race before the actual event. I was very shocked that she managed to still run a place. Because I didn't like what I saw last time out. I just hope that her temperament doesn't get the better of her this time around. Maybe she's actually better when traveling. I don't know. But what's interesting, I don't think Richard walks around 54.5. Or does he?
It's a good question. I think
After this little holiday, where was he?
I think he was in Zambia, if I speak under correction. I think he was tiger fishing.
There's no way back he's come back at 54.5 after a week or two's break. So in the back of my mind, I think he's said I'll get down to 54.5 for her. And like I touched on last time out, she should have reversed the form with White Pearl, especially at the weight turnaround. So I'm excusing her for a penultimate start. I'm excusing her for a later start. I've taken my chances. I've banked her.
Lovely. So Daryl Marie's going to bank a Queen of Camelot. Let's go into those selections. Let's see what we're doing. Second jackpot. Daryl Marie's bankering number 7, Queen of Camelot, by banker 1 in the second leg. Is that 1 and 5, Daryl? So it's 1 and 5 in leg 3, and then field at the back. Big field at the back, leg 4. 34 Rand is the spend. You need to be on at 2:45. So we're on to race number 7. The favourites, number 2, Gilda Grey at 18 to 10. The 1, Try Me's at 5 to 2. And it's 11 to 2 and better those. Darren, let's chat to you first on the line, all the way in the Western Cape. Gilda Grey, 18 to 10. I think this will drift come closer to race time. I think the money's going to be for number 1, Try Me. That's now 5 to 2, but I think we'll shorten up. What do you like?
I do give Try Me quite a big chance here. Last on debut, it was a solid effort. She quickened up smartly to win, and this isn't a strong race at all. So she could make it 2 from 2. Now you got to include Gilda Grey, but the trip is a concern. She's dropping in trip, and I don't think it's ideal. You got Tsitsi Karma Pearl. There was a lot of support for her last time out behind Call Me When You Need Me. Let's see if that form could be franked in the race before. Countess Danza, not a bad effort behind Ivy League. And last but not least, include Big City Girl. Her first run for the new stable last time out was a cracker, and she could build on that. But Try Me, probably the horse to beat.
Yeah, I was out back at Turffontein in the back parade ring, and Johan said to me, listen, this horse is 10 to 1. I fancy her to go very close. Go and have a nibble. I mean, you can't get hurt at that price, and she quickened up to win a good race. Daryl, they obviously think quite a bit of this 3-year-old Bay filly. I mean, she did win nicely. Can she go on from it now?
Absolutely, Brandon. For a filly to get left on the inside track on debut and still manage to win, irrespective of the strength of the field, you have to be slightly above your opposition. And that just showed that she does have some sort of ability. I watched that race very closely. I don't know if you noticed 400 from home, she wasn't really going anywhere in a hurry. And as the race went on, the stronger she got, and if it was another 200 meters, she would have won by a lot further. So I'm saying, although she's carrying top weights in this sort of race, I'm saying she's still potentially well ahead of the handicapper. She has to step up to the mark now because that wasn't a strong field whatsoever. But it's an extra 200 meters. It's a longer run-in. It's the stand-side track. It's more testing. She's related to Homely Girl, a well above average filly over the 7 furlongs, and Manic Monday, who got, I think, close on a mile and a half or 1800 meters. So she is going to appreciate the extra. She's taking on fillies and mares that are in their place, and I think she's got a lot of scope for improvement. So I bank her. A filly that interests me, if you don't want to bank her, is Marshmallow. This filly has always caught my eye going down to the start. She looks outstanding. I see the blinkers come off, and she will run a much improved race because I don't think she quite delivered last time out. So if you want to really go wide and add her in, I'd suggest that. But I've taken my chances. I'm bankering number 1 of year. I think she'll go back to back. Try me.
If there's one other I can add to that, watch out for Big City Girl. She was in a hopeless position last time out. She just dropped herself out, but she quickened up beautifully that last 400 meters, and we'll be hoping for Alson and Zalala that maybe he can have his first winner with Big City Girl. Let's put up those selections. Let's see what we're doing for race 7. Daryl Marie said take a pick 3, go and bank number 1, Try Me. By horses 1 and 5 in leg 2, by field at the back, that'll be leg 3. 34 Rand is the spent. Let's go on to the penultimate. It's race number 8. And Mabaneng's your favourites over here. Races in the silks of world sports betting. So Warren Tannis and his whole team, all the best. I see the market has Mabaneng at 18-10. Favourites, the 5 Mama Quera, second favourite, 15-4. You've got 6 written in the sand at 9-2. And it's 17-2 about Meet the Captain for Dougie Lawrence. All right, let's go to Darren Burrows. Darren, Mabaneng 18-10. I know this is the right sort of trip, but I don't think I'll be diving in at that price.
I wouldn't be diving in at that price. Last time out, I fancied her, and she found nothing in the closing stages. I was disappointed with that effort. Mama Quera, probably the horse to beat. I know she's a 7-year-old mare, but she is suited to the 14 on the stand-side track. Probably her best track and trip, and I think she'll run a cracker from a good draw. Now, a place in the sun, I know she won a very weak maiden in her penultimate start, but I was super impressed how she turned it on late. And last time out, the 2,000 meters caught her out. So the drop back to 14, I wouldn't be surprised to see a place in the sun win. I've included 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the exotics, and that's enough to see us through.
Yeah, I think watch out for this horse, Meet the Captain. I want to get the input from Daryl Marie on Meet the Captain because with no weight on the back, I'm hoping with more of a patient ride, we might just see a better performance. She moved into challenge very early last time out. Daryl, could this be the value in the race?
You know what I'd say, Brandon? I know it looks like she's improved with the blinkers in her latest 2 starts since being refitted with them, but a little bit of a concern is I don't know if she was pulling hard that Muzi let her go a long way out last time out. Because, I mean, she basically at the front, like at the 500 meter mark, I didn't pay enough attention to notice whether she was overdoing it. So that's the only reason why I excluded her, yeah, because I thought maybe a test in 1400 up that hill, she might be caught wanting. But if the blinkers come off, I'm going to throw her into my perms. Brandon, this favourite, Mabaneng, last time out, Rachel gave her a peach of a ride and she basically found nothing. She really should have gone on and won from where she was, how easy she got it up front. So I'm playing to beat her. I think maybe just she's had too much racing. I'm not too sure. Now, Mama Quera's my number 1 pick, but have a look. She hasn't seen the winner's enclosure for 749 days. But the combination had a nice winner on Thursday, and I agree with Darren wholeheartedly. This filly, coursing distance, she's at her best, and she'll run a blinder once again. I've only backed up with one other runner, and that's number 1, Rattlebag. Now, she's held her own. I mean, in open company, Brandon, never beaten too far. Gregor McGregor was open company. William Iron Arm, Funky Music. Now, last time out, she got beaten 4.5 lengths by Funky Music. But Funky Music won by 4 lengths, or 3.5 lengths. Sundays riding outstandingly well. He knows the filly, so I've gone 1 and 5.
Yeah, let's see. Mama Quera had that was Queen of Camelot just in front of her last time out, which is a nice filly from the Lucky Udalakis yard. So let's see how she goes, Mama Quera. There's the selections up on your screen. Daryl Marie going to say a swinger, 1 and 5. So if you want to take that swinger a few times on the totes, you can take it for as much as you've got in your back pocket. 1 being Rattlebag and the 5 being Mama Quera. This particular race goes off at 5-4. Let's go on to the lucky last. It's race number 9. Your favourites, number 2, Wings Within Me at 4-1. Joint favourite now, One Foul Swoop, has shortened from 9-2 into 4-1. That's number 7. The 6, Simply Magic at 6-1. It's 8-1 and better those. Darren, this is a very tough race. The quartet is going to pay money. Is there anything you like for value in the last race?
Yes, Brandon. My first choice being a 25-1 shot called Mighty Goddess. Now, this filly showed a lot of ability early on in her career with the Raters stable. She ran in a couple of features behind some smart horses. She finally cracked her maiden and then didn't quite go through with it. But she changed stables before her last start. And last time out with her new stable over 1,000 meters, she still caught the eye, only 6 lengths off On Cue. Now, she is backed up only a week and a half later. That could be the only concern second run back. But if she's anywhere near ready and come on from that last run, I really believe she's going to finish in the first 4. So small each way bet, Mighty Goddess at a big price. She is drawn towards the stand side. The 14 draws in her favor. Now, the dangers, One Foul Swoop. Impressive winner on her local debut. She's also drawn hard up on the outside, so she's going to run well. And one more to include is Red Carpet Girl at a big price. I think she's going to run a blinder, also drawn towards the stand side of the track. So I found a bit of value. Mighty Goddess, One Foul Swoop, and Red Carpet Girl.
I'm glad Darren touched on Red Carpet Girl because that's my value at 16-1. I think Daryl Marie's going to give us some confidence as well. She had no luck at the start last time out. All the going seemed to be on the middle outside and she just had nothing go right. I can't believe this was Red Carpet Girl 16-1. Daryl?
Neither can I, Brandon. She's my top pick. Like we all touched on, she was desperately unlucky last time out, so you can just blind through that effort. Prior to that, her form's solid. I mean, Golden Sickle came out and ran a cracking second to get touched off by On Cue. Her 2 previous starts were against boys. Lulu's Boy came out and won. Kawalami came out and ran second to, who was that filly? Golden Tatiana. So I thought Red Carpet Girl certainly represents the value in the race. You know, Darren touched on 3 horses over here, Brandon. Numbers 4, 7, and 12. I had 7 and 12 in my PA. I only had 2 horses, but I thought he might have found some value in Mighty Goddess. I think she is going to improve on her debut effort for her yard. She's going to strip fitter. So 4, 7, and 12 for me at the back too.
Okay, and that's how we're going to wrap it up. Thank you very much to Daryl Marie. Thanks to Darren Burrows. Let's put up those selections. Let's see what we're doing in the last race. Darren says we must go a place on Mighty Goddess. So if you like that one, races in the silks of Stinky Pooey. Must have a big chance. Waishong Mowing being the trainer and Rachel Venica will take off 1.5 kilograms. The last race goes off at 4:30. Thanks for watching. We'll chat for Durban tomorrow. Bye-bye.